Hello, 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 great people. So here we are back with Believe in Your Better, Believe in Your Better podcast. I'm sorry, I'm messing with some things here, but I thank you for sharing this time with me. And today, in this session, I have Mr. Logan Lanier. He is a good friend of mine. We worked again, another guest from um, the Department of Corrections here in Michigan, and he is also a retiree. So, but he comes with like a giant treasure chest of enthusiasm, of tips, of encouragement, because he too went from being a parole agent to a collegiate basketball coach for girls, well, girls, women, I'm sorry. Look, I'm
Girl,
showing my
women and
age.
girls and women. Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, because I remember, when we were in corrections, you had the little ones, young ones.
I had the high schoolers. I had high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So so you went from a collegiate coach to now, as you can see, a newscaster. Right. Yay.
Yeah.
So let me read a few of his ongoing accolades. So Mr. Lanier is the current associate producer at CBS News Detroit. He produces the
hmm
evening news broadcast on the stream and does feature
hmm
stories for CBS News. He was previously a news reporter at 13 ABC and production assistant at NBC 24, both in Toledo, Ohio. Okay, and now we got you back, huh? Before the path in
Oh yeah.
broadcast news, Logan worked 31 years as a parole agent and corrections officer with the Michigan Department of Corrections. After retiring in 2016, Logan was hired as the athletic director and head women's basketball coach at Wright State University, Lake Campus in Celina, Ohio.
Celina, Ohio. Yep.
Oh, Celina, Ohio. All right. Yay. So I am glad to have you here. I appreciate you taking the time with me to encourage people, to let them know they are not too old, they are not too um it's not too late. Yes, you might have given an entity,
hmm
a organization, yeah, 25, 30, 35 years. However, that does not mean that's the end of the road. So you do have some
hmm
dreams that you need to seek. And Mr. Logan here is going to help us understand how you do it. All right. Where do we start, sir? Where do we start? So tell me when you were, and here's the thing, I remember when we were at the Detroit Reentry Center and you had an opportunity, I think, to interview, right? And
Right.
I know you told me, you told Keith, I think it was like all four of us like sitting around, me, you, Sherry, and Keith, and you were like, well, what should I do? Should I even look at this? All of us were like, yeah, why not?
You
Hurry
got
up.
good. Yeah. Well, let me say this first and foremost. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
And glad to be on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a privilege and an honor. And you do have a good memory because I do not remember that. But what
Look,
for
I
what?
remember all kind of juicy stuff like that because it that inspires me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was thinking, if I remember right, I was thinking about going into college coaching,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, something
Mm-hmm.
along those lines, because that was my next goal after
Mm-hmm.
I retired. Um, so um, I would say this first and foremost, and yeah, I've done a lot, but we talk to the audience here. If you aspire to do something, you have a goal, uh, do the necessary steps to reach your goal, whatever that may be. Okay. You can't
Mm-hmm.
cut corners or anything like that. Um, some persistence may take place. Um, I
Yes.
knew I was kind of behind the eight ball a little bit, and when I say that, jobs are very competitive, especially in that particular business.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to set your goals, do everything correctly, follow whatever rules there are, follow them, okay? But don't let them stay dormant. You got to be persistent. So if I can put one key word in right now, is persistence.
Okay. Persistence.
That's
And
one key word. I got some more. That's the first one.
so that's for the person, like you said, if they have a goal in mind, they do have a dream. So now what
Hmm.
would you suggest for people who they don't really know what they want to do? They don't know what avenue they want to travel in. However, they know that this isn't it. Wherever they are at this moment, they know that this isn't it. That's why they feel so anxious, maybe a little depressed. They may be a little stagnant. They feel stagnant. So, how would you encourage them to try and recognize a shift?
Well, again, first and foremost, lay it down, write it down. I'm a very spiritual, religious person, so
Mm-hmm.
my spirituality comes into play as
Yes.
well. So that's huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer, meditation, all those things come into play.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you give it to God.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
and God is the one that directs your path. Anyway, I don't want to start preaching or anything like that right now,
No,
but
no.
God is the one that directs your path. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's in His will, it'll happen. So if a person that's stagnant like that, if you are not a religious person, and you don't have to be, but you should know the word. You should know something in terms of your spirituality, and let that come into play as well. Because what happens is your spirituality gives you peace,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not you're not all over the place mentally or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you have some sort of spirituality, if you have a prayer life, that gives you peace.
Okay.
So that's my second key word. It's persistence and peace. You got to have
Okay.
peace.
All right. So oftentimes I tell my clients, if especially if they say that they're Christians, that they
Hmm.
believe in God. So I tell them, like you said, ask God. He gave you the
Hmm.
gifts. He gave you the
Hmm.
inclination, even that hey, this right here is not it. So talk to him about it. And you do have
That's
some
right.
who may say, well, they're not religious. They don't pray like that. So I tell them this. Well, what skills, what thing can you do that you do really not really good? Because here it is, they don't know what their gifts are, right? So
Right.
what thing do? You do it well, and or it comes easy for you than it does for other people. Maybe that's what you should pursue, right? At least to give them some type of a ground to travel on. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All
So
right.
can you hear? Yeah, can you hear me? I thought I lost you for a minute.
Oh no. Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear you.
good. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. So yeah, that's the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, that should be your foundation, is your spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you set your goals and you pray over them. And again, we're
Okay.
talking about spiritually speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what you do.
Okay.
And then you work towards your goals, and whatever that may be. And in my particular case, I was about to retire, and I just started applying all over the place because my goal was to find a coaching job in the United States. I didn't limit myself because I
Okay.
was willing to go anywhere.
Okay.
It just so happens it
That's a
landed
good
in
thought.
Ohio.
That's a good
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, yeah. You don't limit yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, uh, apply everywhere. Whatever it is that you want to do, apply and do it. Take the necessary steps. Once you do that, then you add your spirituality too. But your spirituality should happen before
Mm-hmm.
that. You should have already established that, or established that first. So when you do put in all these things, when you start making your moves,
Mm-hmm.
you have somewhere to take them.
Okay.
If you know what I'm talking about, you have somewhere to take your goals, and your spirituality would kick in from that point. And then you
Okay.
just start working. You just start working it, and let God do. Once you do it, you give it to God, and let God do the rest. Do your best. Let God do the rest.
Okay. All right. So when you think about your transition from, like you said, you had 31 years with the
Hmm.
state of Michigan Corrections Department, and
Right.
you're changing now. Like you said, first you were a correctional officer. So
Hmm.
for those who don't know, that is the officer you look, layman's, you'll call them guards, but they're correctional officers within
Right.
the prison. And
Right.
you took a shift then. You went from an officer to a parole agent, parole probation
Hmm.
agent, which
Hmm.
is a shift. You're not in the prison anymore, right?
Hmm.
Because in the
Right.
prison, you're locked behind the gate, just like the inmates, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So now to go from that type of a job into the field, what was your mind shift there?
Well, my goal initially when I got into the department was to be a agent.
Okay.
Back then, jobs were very scarce
Mm-hmm.
as an agent.
Okay.
Um, People were already established. Nobody was really retiring yet. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the only thing that was open in terms of a job was a corrections officer.
Okay. Okay.
And, and when I did that, I was scared to death. I didn't know what I
Okay.
was getting into.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
God knew what I was getting into because that was his plan.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that for 7 years.
Okay.
And then things started opening up. And then I got into the halfway house as an
Mm-hmm.
agent. And
Okay.
then from there, I went to the half. No, I'm sorry. I was still a corrections officer in a halfway house. Then I
The
transferred.
hotel that was on Woodward, that one?
Well, several of them. So this
Okay.
was in the YMCA
Oh,
downtown. Is
okay.
where
Okay.
Comerica Park sits right now,
Mm-hmm.
where the Tigers play. But I went there, and I was there for 2 years, and then Mound Correctional Facility opened, and I went over there as an officer.
Okay.
It wasn't until I got over there, and right now it's about 10 years in, and those individuals that were agents, though now they're starting to retire or get hired in higher positions. So
Okay.
now jobs start opening up in that realm, and then that's when I took the jump from officer to agent. So
Okay.
then I went to Greenfield District Probation as a probation agent, and then that opened up the parole part, and I was at
Mm-hmm.
Downtown District Parole.
Okay. All right. And you did parole. And for again, for those who may not know, that's when we are supervising um, men and women who have been released from prison. They're coming home, but they still have some monitoring. And we're doing the monitoring.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
okay. So now you did that for how many years? So
As
that
an
would have
agent,
been, yeah,
right.
like
I
21.
started as an agent. Well, yeah, yep. Did
Okay.
that for 20. Yeah, that's 20 years. I did somewhere there about
Mm-hmm.
adding both up, and then it ended up be 31. Now
Okay.
embedded in there, a lot of people don't know. Embedded in there, I went to the police academy.
Oh,
Nobody
no,
really knew that.
I didn't know that. Okay.
No, 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 no. I did a lot. So
For
I went to
Detroit?
for Detroit. I went to Detroit
Okay.
Police Academy because what happened was my shift was afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Allowed me to go to the academy. The academy um, was a day was 8 to 4.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I
And
went to
then,
the
oh,
academy first, and then I came out. I was trying to say, okay, well, am I going to jump to be a cop? So what happened? Um, I got assigned to the sixth precinct.
Hmm.
I was only there a month, and then I went over to Rollo Township Police. Uh, did what they were doing was having officers part time.
Okay.
Or you go there and work part-time. And in my portion that I did a day shift. No. This is what happened. I got switched to days in corrections.
Okay.
I got 4 o'clock, and that allowed me to work a few hours as a cop in Rollo Township. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't talk about that much. So a combination of all of this stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, I wanted to get in law enforcement. Uh,
The best option for me that turned out was correction. So,
Okay.
answering the question to that is, I did that. Embedded in there was the police.
Hmm.
So I did do about 19 agent and police officer.
Okay. And so, all in all, while you're doing that, you're, like you said, doing part-time police officer,
Hmm.
parole, full-time parole agent. You
Yep.
were, now, when you were working with, now, did you do middle school with the girls' basketball or just high school?
I did high school.
Okay.
No, I did middle school too. Yep, I did middle
Okay. Yeah,
school.
I was trying to remember that. Okay.
Wasn't long though. I went over. So what happened? I was the head coach at Ferndale High School. I left
Hmm.
Ferndale, went over to Old Redford Academy for 1 year,
Okay.
and then the job at University Prep opened up middle school. So I went to the middle school. I did that, and so it kind of transitioned to be the high school girls
Hmm.
coach. I'm glad I did that because my middle school girls came with me to the high school. So it's
All
U Prep
right.
Middle
Okay. Yeah.
School,
Yeah.
and they just
Yeah.
transitioned to me at the high school, and that's the good thing because they were with me uh,
Right. Right. So, and they know
what,
your
6 years,
style and you know them.
7 years? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
So, all right. So, as you were, like you said, you're just living, you're doing your thing, you're doing your positions. You like being a parole agent. You love
Hmm.
coaching the girls basketball. So,
Hmm.
at what point in time did you see the shift of being a collegiate coach?
That came within my last year as an agent.
Okay.
So at the reentry center
Hmm.
was my last stop as an agent. And
Hmm.
so now I'm approaching 30 years and I can see the handwriting on the wall. So that's when I need to decide what I was going to do next.
Okay.
Was I going to keep going or was I going to stop and rest and just take it easy?
Hmm.
So I like to work. So what I did, I just decided to keep going. And that's when I started applying
Okay.
for college coaching jobs. My last year of working is when I did that. So that was in 2015.
Hmm. Okay. So for the listeners, so they don't think that you just sailed through from one thing to another just because you changed your mind. Share maybe some points where, you were struggling to understand what path you would take, or if you had some roadblocks that you thought maybe were going to sideline you. What would you
Well,
tell them? How did you maneuver through it?
okay, well, there were some roadblocks because when you apply for jobs, again, it's competition. And uh, so, so doors were slammed in my face.
Hmm.
And then this is again after now I'm retired. Now I've really applied for jobs, but nobody was calling me.
Okay.
And or if I did have one or two interviews, I didn't get them.
Okay.
So to get past that, okay, you can't be discouraged. Now human nature would discouragement
Hmm.
will come in because
Right.
you are human.
Right.
Okay, but here again, that's where your persistence come in. That's where your peace comes in, and you have to keep going. And I will say this, surround yourself with some positive individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So at that particular time, I had my friends, my buddies. My dad was still living at the time. So, I would, confer with them,
Okay.
talk to them. It's always good some other individuals. Don't, because again, as you're human, and discouragement comes in, and you need somebody to talk to. Don't hold
Yes.
it all in.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so surround yourself with positive people, and that positiveness um, will help you get through what you're trying to what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's another nugget I want to put out there. So you got one persistence, you got peace, and now you gotta be positive.
Right. Right. Have a
That's
great
three.
support group. Mm-hmm. That encourage
Positiveness.
and uplift, not the support
Yes.
group that throw out those. Well, why are you doing that?
Stay
What
away
makes
from
you?
negative people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they don't hire black women to do that. They don't hire black men to do that. And it's like,
Yep.
why?
Yep.
How's that
You're gonna get all
encouraging?
kinds of things. Yeah, you're gonna get all kind of, yeah. In my particular case, um, uh, well, is he too old, or is
Mm-hmm.
and I will say this, um, a lot of jobs, although they may say it, it is based on race. I don't
Okay.
want to get into all of that,
Okay.
but a lot of it is, and it depends on the school where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's based on that, but again, all of that stuff you
But you
can't
didn't let
let it get
that
to you.
sidetrack you or
Right now,
sideline you. You understood whatever the game was and you still played it.
you still played it. You still got
Mm-hmm.
to play it, but that may
Mm-hmm.
not. That's not the. If one door is shut, as we always say, the cliche,
Mm-hmm.
another one opens, and that's
Mm-hmm.
true. But you
Mm-hmm.
have got your persistence and your peace, your positivity
Mm-hmm.
has to come in.
Yes.
You gotta keep those things.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta stay grounded
Absolutely.
in all of that.
Absolutely.
You can't let one thing discourage you.
Okay.
But you gotta be with somebody that's positive. You gotta talk. You can't don't hold all this stuff in. You gotta have
Mm-hmm.
people in your life that you can talk to.
And that's where us therapists come in. I keep
Hmm.
telling everybody, everyone
Yeah,
needs a therapist. That is what we're there for, to help
that's
you,
right.
you know, um, pick out the good parts and understand the negative parts.
That's
That's
right.
okay, right? You need to have encouraging words, and you need to know for sure, how to speak positive, encouraging, uplifting words to yourself. You don't have to wait for
Yes.
others to say it. Say it to yourself every morning when you get up. That's what I tell my clients. Be good to yourself. Give yourself a high
Yeah.
five in the mirror when you get up in the morning.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, that's a
That's
great
right.
pick me up.
Yeah. Prayer is another good thing too. Again, we go back to
Hmm.
spirituality, and
Yes,
but
yes.
prayer gives you peace, and while you're doing that, self encouraging, and
Hmm.
that we call it self positive talk.
Hmm.
You incorporate all those things, and again, we got it's too bad that we're in a world that's negative right now.
Hmm.
And I'm in the business, and I guess we'll talk about my business here in a minute with the news. But you hear so much bad stuff,
Hmm.
um, and that discourages you a lot when you hear so much bad stuff that's
Yes,
going on.
yes.
And that if you allow that to happen, then they eat at you too. But so again, you gotta stay grounded.
Right, right, right. So now that you brought up the newscasting, so okay, you worked how long as a collegiate coach?
I worked as a collegiate coach, including being athletic director. It was 7 years.
Okay, 7 years. So
Seven
now,
years.
and then you make again another totally different uh, career change. You go from uh, parole agent to college basketball coach to
Hmm.
newscaster. So talk about that shift.
All right. So, here I am coasting along. Because I will say this: the only thing I wanted to do when I retired was to coach basketball. That
Mm-hmm.
was it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, God has another plan. So here come the pandemic.
Okay.
Pandemic comes, and I can only speak for myself, but I know that pandemic shifted a whole lot of folks and a whole lot of stuff. But for me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it shifted me. I was let go by Wright State University. The pandemic came in, and they were at that point um, letting go a whole lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of those individuals that they let go.
Okay.
So now, not giving up on that dream, I made some phone calls. I had a buddy that was coaching in Toledo, Ohio at Loras University.
Okay.
And I contacted him. He was ecstatic, wanted to bring me along. Of course, you got to go through the application process with that.
Yes.
Um, Pandemic is still kind of bad, still raging. Got hired, but then the administration and Loras University's Catholic ran. The nuns
Mm-hmm.
decided they weren't going to hire anybody at that time because pandemic still was, it got actually got worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided not to hire anybody at that time. So
Okay.
then I said, okay, now what I'm going to do now? So I invested in some equipment, and like yourself, I started doing podcasting. And so
Okay.
I did 11 episodes, 12 episodes of that. And that kind of got my juices flowing to want to take that a step further. And so
Mm-hmm.
I contacted Specs Howard and Lawrence Tech University
Okay.
and got into broadcasting school. And the fortunate thing, the blessing in that was uh, they had pandemic money to give out scholarships or whatever, because it
Mm-hmm.
didn't stop for, they couldn't close the school down.
Right. Right.
So they were giving out scholarship money, and I was one of the fortunate ones to get a scholarship, and that took me into broadcasting. So
Okay.
I went to broadcasting school, did that for 18 months, and that led me to uh, NBC in Toledo. I was already living in Toledo anyway.
Okay.
Applied again, here again, applied again.
Mm-hmm.
As as they had a Fox station there, applied there, thought I was going to get that job. Great interview.
Okay.
Told me no.
Okay.
So kept applying at NBC. The guy never called me back. Finally, I got a call.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I went in for the interview and got that job. So now I will say this in terms of your persistence. Once you get in, once you get into where you're trying to go, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to open up a lot of doors
More
for you.
doors.
But
Yes,
you gotta get
absolutely.
in, and
Absolutely.
you might have to start at the bottom and work your way up, and which is
Mm-hmm.
what I did. So
Okay.
at
Now,
NBC, I was a production assistant. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say, so go into that a little more because at this age you are how old? When you said
At
like you
this
said you're
point,
starting at the bottom.
right. At this point, I am 62 years old.
All
So
right. Yeah.
I
That,
graduated
yeah.
from broadcast school at age 61. No,
Okay.
62. No,
Okay.
I was about to be 62. It was May of 22. I turned 62 in
Mm-hmm.
July of 22. So
Okay.
I was still 61. Yeah.
All right. Yes. So look at that. So here you are, 61 years old, and you're going into your third career.
Third
And and
career.
and you're not letting any hills that you have to climb stop you, especially age, race, color, however tall you are, how much you weigh. You're not letting any of that stuff keep you from moving.
Correct. And
That's
so,
good.
but
That's good.
I did hit a little wall there. Because when I finished broadcasting school and
Mm-hmm.
I was applying again, Fox in Toledo turned me down. I applied to some radio stations too. Here in Detroit, I applied over at um yes, nine is that
Okay.
what is
Mm-hmm.
that?
What else?
92 point not 92.3.
Uh, is it
105.9,
105? Yeah, 105.
105.9. And I
Mm-hmm.
applied at 92.3. They're out in Farmington. Anyway, I
Okay.
applied to those two places. Great interviews to be on the radio because podcasting has a radio flavor to it. And I loved the
Yes.
radio.
Yes.
And so, but I didn't get the job there
Okay.
uh, for those two stations. So then I hit that wall. Like, okay, I'm 61 years old. I mean, what's the chance of somebody hiring me at this
Mm-hmm.
age?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So here again, that doubt start creeping in a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. But again, my persistence again, I had to go back to
Mm-hmm.
my P's, being staying positive and staying persistent. And so I
Okay.
said, okay, let me just keep rolling here and keep applying. And so that's what I did. Again, NBC called, and I got the job as a production assistant and a floor director and new director of news, broadcast news.
Okay.
And that took propelled me.
All right. All right. So, and now w- I know it's illegal, you're not supposed to, but when you had those interviews, did they actually say something about your age?
No,
Okay.
and they won't.
Okay.
Okay, but I mean, but you can tell.
Uh,
You know, you can you can tell when people are talking to you, what they're thinking.
okay.
I'm not saying I got superpowers or anything like
No,
that.
no,
You can
I
just tell
understand.
the flow of the interview, the flow of the
Hmm.
questions. You
Right.
know, because um, in most interviews they ask you, um, what's your if you get hired, what's your goals? Of course, they want to ask you about yourself. You tell them
Hmm.
about yourself, and once you tell them about yourself, they kind of figure out your age because they don't know how old you are until they get in front of you, until you get in front of them,
Okay.
and they see how you are. And both of those interviews back then were post pandemic. So a lot of them were on Zoom.
Hmm.
They weren't in person.
Okay. Right. Right.
Right. Right. So,
So that
you know,
makes a little difference too.
yeah.
Hmm.
And they're
Okay.
still on Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an easier way for them. So,
Yeah.
so give us a little bit in regards to um, your fortitude. So we can tell how you pushed ahead, but I know there were some things like you said you left your family when you went to Ohio,
Hmm.
and because they were still here in Michigan. So
Right.
when somebody that's listening to us and they're thinking about those moves, how would you encourage them to pay attention to what some of the desires that they have for themselves instead of making decisions strictly off of others' desires?
Well, let's say this. Your family does come into play.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how your family is structured. Um, Me myself, of course, I'm not married, so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a wife to confide or anything like that. But if you do have family uh, close like that, wife, a spouse, um, it's best to talk to them, um,
Mm-hmm.
and or any other people. I mean, if your mom, your dad still living, or anybody of that magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's always best to confide in your family. In my particular case, my grandsons were small when I was making all these decisions.
Okay.
And then, of course, I had my dad, I had my sister. Um, but both of those individuals were like, hey, you they know me. Even if they tried to say, no, I want you to go, they know I'm persistent. So they were in my corner. They
Okay.
were
Okay.
saying, hey, you need to follow the desires of your heart. Keep it
Mm-hmm.
moving. Keep going. So they kind of know me and your family. If they know you like that, it wouldn't be an issue. But it's always good to talk it over if you got somebody significant in your life like
Mm-hmm.
that. So.
All right.
Yeah, because
Yes,
they
it
they
is.
they will give you
Yes, it
some
is.
encouragement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to help you feel more secure with your decision, because it
Hmm.
is the desire, and you might have thought about, or you might have missed in your plan, well, what about this area
Right,
over here? And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Let me add that into the list or the pile of
right,
how
right.
will how would I make this change?
Exactly, exactly. But again, the main thing is, and we talked about this before, is the encouragement, positivity.
Mm-hmm.
They were positive individuals in my life. My sister still is. Um, and so that goes a long way. You
Yes.
know, if you have people in your life saying, "Oh, you can't do it. No, you shouldn't go. Why are you leaving me?" and all that, you know, you do have to. You do have to. You're not neglecting them. You're not um, throwing them onto the wayside, but you have to look at yourself and your situation and what's
Mm-hmm.
best for you, because
Right.
that's the most important thing at the end of the day is what's
Yes.
best for you. You know.
Good, good.
Hmm.
I really appreciate you taking this time for us. So now you have given some good steps, and you have given some nuggets of mindset, what to think on, how to move ahead. But I want you to end the interview with just a strong word of encouragement.
Well, I'm going to take those three if I could. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Prayer first, because God's first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Persistence and positivity.
Okay.
Okay. The three P's,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Prayer,
prayer
persistence, and
and
positivity.
positivity. Those three things. Okay.
All right.
You
All
put,
right.
you incorporate those three things in your life, um, and have that positive mindset, put your mind to do it, you know, Philippians, and is it with God all things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
4:13, I think it's 4:13.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's it.
All
Prayer,
right.
positivity, and persistence.
Right. Right.
It don't have to be in
Uh,
that order. Prayer first, though. That's the first
mm-hmm.
thing. The other two,
You have to have a relationship. You have to have a relationship with God.
and a relationship. Yep, yep. You want to throw that R in there? That's it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have a relationship. So yeah, establish your prayer life. Get your
Right. I was going to say
spirituality.
that is the relationship. Like you said,
Hmm.
are you just like how in our earthly relationships, do you go to him just
Hmm.
when you need something, or do you go to him and let him know, oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful. Look, for this sunny day. I'm so grateful for this interview, right? Do you let
That's
him
right.
know how happy and blessed you feel? So that's your
That's it.
relationship, and be
That
more
is.
in
And then
tune with it.
when something good happens, don't forget him. Okay.
Right,
God's
right,
not God's not some cosmic bellhop, as my
right.
pastor would always say. You know, you gotta,
Cosmic bellhop. Okay.
yeah, ain't some sort of cosmic
No.
bellhop. Yeah. Yeah,
Good,
my
good.
God rest his soul, Dr. Jordan. Yeah, he would always say that. And again, that's a foundation. If you got that
Hmm.
foundation,
Hmm.
everything else, when something negative happens or occurs or tries to get in,
Hmm.
um, you can rely on your spirituality and where you are.
Okay.
Okay,
So now,
but
if someone
mhm.
wants to get in contact with you in regards to going to broadcasting school, or how to like dip their pinky toe into that well, what would you say? I mean, where can they contact you?
They can contact me at logan.lanier@cbs.com.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
Logan, first name Logan, Logan, dot Lanier at CBS.com.
Okay.
That's the
Very good.
easiest email I've ever had. Because all the rest of them was kind of long. Yeah,
Right, right.
Logan.Lanier@CBS.com. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Um,
Good,
how
good.
to get into what I did. There's a lot of
Hmm.
I have a lot of mentors. I had a lot of mentors that mentored me,
Hmm.
and I have a lot of mentees right now who's going through this right
I can
now, and I'm kind of
imagine.
giving them some
Yeah.
guide. Yeah, I got quite a few. So
That's good. Yeah, and that's good that that they know they can turn to you. And that's for all of us. All of us need mentors,
yes,
regardless
that's
of our
right.
age. Mm-hmm.
That's right. So, it's a blessing to do what I'm doing. I enjoy it. Um, I will say this. I gotta say this last thing. I do
Okay.
have a newscast story coming up on July 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
I've been entrusted and blessed to do the story on Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa's been gone 50 years.
Right.
Nobody knows where he at,
Yeah.
so they say. So I'm doing the
Well,
50th
if some folks
anniversary.
know, they know
Yeah,
where he is. They
yeah,
don't want to
50th
share.
anniversary. Well,
Okay.
well,
Now, where
the
will
guy I
you be?
interviewed,
Uh-uh.
it'll be on CBS News
Mm-hmm.
on July 30th, the date of his anniversary of his
Oh, July
disappearance.
30th.
July 30th, all broadcasts starting at 5 a.m. So
Okay.
it'll be in the broadcast all through the day at 5, 6, uh, and 12 noon, and then 4, 5, and
Okay.
6. All day
Mm-hmm.
long on the 30th. It'll be my story embedded in the newscast. So
Right,
you
right,
gotta
right.
watch the news on that day to
Okay,
catch it.
okay.
So I'm finishing that up right now. I had an interview with a gentleman yesterday. Um, So again, I do segments like that now. I'm not out there in the street anymore doing
Right.
fires and murders and things like that. So do stuff for CBS News and maybe national if one of the national um, uh, stations want to get it because
Okay.
Jimmy Hoffa was missing in the Detroit area. So with us being in Detroit, they may grab
Mm-hmm.
my story and
And spread
they
it
might
around.
show it in New York somewhere. Yep.
Okay. All right. Listen to
We'll see.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
We'll see.
good. Very good. All right, sir. I great again. You don't understand how thankful I am by me being, a new kid on the block with the podcast. It's exciting and different, and I'm learning while I'm doing it. So I do
Mhm.
appreciate your valuable time.
Well, you're doing a good job, Dana. Keep up the great work.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing what
Thank
you're
you.
doing. And you never know where this may lead you. Okay. This
Exactly.
podcasting thing might
Mm-hmm.
lead you into being you might be a talk show host. You might get into broadcasting.
Right.
This is where
Who
it
knows,
starts,
right? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
this is how I
Yes.
started.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Very good. I appreciate you again. Thank you.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Okay.